Welcome back on the AM show. Time now for us to get into the news review, and you know how we do it. Before we get into it, we're supported on this segment by Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, and here's what they're offering you. If you're a man, they say come through and let them offer you prostate screening absolutely gratis, for free. If you're a woman, come for fertility screening for free. You never know what you'll discover, and from there, you could protect yourself from maybe, for all you know, a terminal illness. And that's why I'm proffering that you reach out to them at any of their branches, starting from here in Accra at Spintex opposite the Shell signboard, Kumasi, Kronoma, Boehian behind the Angel Educational Complex, the Takrade Anaji State Tema Community 22, Techiman Hansua, and the Siama Nzema. You can reach them on the following numbers: 0244 867 068 or 0274 234 321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. Well, joining me for the news review, we have former president of the Ghana Journalists Association, Afeil Money, Roland Afeil Money, and we also have from Arise Ghana, Bernard Mona, the one who is always in a berry. He nearly forgot to use his berry this morning, but he's a 3-star general, I see, with his Ghana flag within the African map. Ghana flag within the African map. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning.
This time you tricked me once. Shame on me.
I never will trick you.
It will not happen.
And I'm not sure anyone has ever succeeded in tricking you. I just drew your attention to something. I can't trick you.
I think one person in leadership succeeded in tricking me, but it won't happen. Anyway, gentlemen, thank you for joining. We'll go straight to it. Your thoughts for us this morning, a minute and a half before we get into the papers. I'll start with you, Afeil Money.
I've been doing a reflective thinking on an article published by the Daily Graphic. And the article took a brutal swipe at the intellectual community for letting our dear nation down. And the argument is that these intellectuals who misgovern, these intellectuals who massage figures, these intellectuals who inflate contrast sums, these intellectuals who certify shoddy projects, and intellectuals who are responsible for the mess we find ourselves in. So I think the article is as relevant today as the day it was published. So it should serve as a wake-up call to the intellectual community to shape up in response to the mounting challenges of this country, especially intellectuals in the media. This is a time for you to exhibit your analytical thinking, exhibit your sense of objectivity. We are told objectivity is the purest gem of this profession. And we know that a number of political forces, so many political forces have invaded the media scene. But there are a number of, just like Joy FM, City FM, and if I should mention names, a professional gem like Ben, who are examples of critical thinking, examples of objectivity, examples of making sure that our country is on the path of ascendancy and not retrogression. So this morning, on behalf of intellectuals in this country, I admit that all have sinned and fallen short of glory. So we need to wake up, we need to shape up, and we need to ensure that this country moves forward and not backwards.
Well, you also know what they say about the worst criminals, right? The worst of them are those who are intellectuals. Intellectual criminals are the worst. Anyway, Bernard Mona.
Well,
your bite of the cherry.
Yeah, greetings to Dr. Afeil Money, a distinguished journalist, and to your good self. I never stop admiring you by the day.
Thank you.
I've been thinking. I think last week I spoke about the disturbances in Kenya, or is it last 2 weeks? And I've still been thinking about those who lead the struggles, and yet when it comes to taking over, they are lacking behind. And you can see that across the globe, that the many who are agitated by the deterioration of society will come up, lead the charge for change, take over the old order, and at the end, it appears that the old order is the one that is brought back. And so if you see the struggles of the Kenyan youth and the political compromises that are made today, where Raila Odinga and his political parties and other bigwigs are now going to be the beneficiaries of the blood, the sweat, the tear gas, and what have you of the young people. I felt and I feel that, look, the young people must rise. This is what we say in our language. Nobody goes to hunt for wild bees or honey. When you eventually, after bees have stung you, you put your hand and you touch the honey. Then you remove your hand and give it to somebody to lick for you. It doesn't happen. And so when you lead the revolution, you must take charge of the revolution. Otherwise, whatever you labored for, I can assure you, will not be manifested. Today, I didn't see Raila Odinga in the protest. He did not suffer tear gas. I didn't see a Kalonzo in the protest. He did not suffer the tear gas. Nobody touched him. And yet, they are the people to sit at the table to determine how Kenyan governments should run.
At least he's been a rallying force.
I feel, no, he was not part of the struggles. When they were throwing the tear gas, I'm not sure his children.
I think he's referring to the past, that he's been a rallying force, not necessarily with this Gen Z activism.
See, Raila is a political opportunist, I must say. I have stayed in Kenya a little bit. And it appears that every government, if he is not, but he must be part. And I'm sure you know about that. From the days,
there are administrations that he's been part of. I believe under Uhuru.
From every government. It's not just Uhuru. Even Mwai Kibaki. Everybody. You understand? Arap Moi, he has always played a certain part in the government. And so it appears that if he's not part, then Amajidom must befall the country.
But he will probably say, like we're also doing here, I was not president. You know, he would say I was not the one.
No, I'm just saying that at the end of the day,
just to situate it from.
No, at the end of the day, they are the people who sit behind when the struggles is over or is simmered. Then they come up and then they benefit. And the young people that were leading the protests, where are they? Those who led the protest, who made the call that we won't tolerate it, where are they? I don't think that we can succeed this way. Across the continent, this is what has been happening, that we lead the struggle. When we are able to succeed at the end of the day, then somebody somewhere, either with his money, then turn around to be the face. And then that is the end of it, and then we go and sit down. And then we will be thinking about how our lives have been destroyed. I think that I want to encourage the young people that our destiny cannot be in the hands of those who have destroyed us today.
Thank you so much for sharing those thoughts, gentlemen. I will just go quickly to, I do not know which one of you watched yesterday, but we had that national pensions dialogue. You know, we've had a number of dialogues on different issues. And yesterday in the evening for 3 hours, we sat here with major stakeholders talking about pensions and everything in between. As we sit here, I'm just looking at us. Some are much closer to pensioning off, others are a little distance away. But the truth is that someday we'll all get to that point where we are feeble. The Bible says it, where food tastes like straw in your mouth and you don't get that joy anymore, where your joints are weak and all of that. That is where you want to fall on a social system to prop you up. But I was amazed yesterday. A lady claimed that she knew someone, a relative, who was earning 300. That was debunked because per the system it's not supposed to be possible. But let's even set that aside. 430 Ghana cedis. I hear people are earning less than 500 cedis in this economy. What will it do for you in a month? The top 7% of earners, the richest of the rich, those who made certain contributions, are earning over 30% of the pie. that is paid across. And 60+% are earning just about 20-something, 30%. So you see that the inequities, the problems are myriad. What are your reflections, gentlemen? I'll start with you, Bernard, on this bit. By the way, the highest earner is earning north of 160 something or 180 something thousand cedis a month. Of course, it is based on what you contribute. But the pension system is also supposed to standardize so that the poorest of the poor are propped up with their contributions and the rich are also pegged down a little. But there are problems. I can't go into all the issues, but what is your take? I'll start with you, Bernard, before we get into the papers.
Well, first and foremost, I recall when I was National Youth Organizer, alongside Haruna Idrisu, Mustafa Hamid, and Oteng Anane of the CPP, we were called upon to draft under President Kufuor the National Youth Policy and its framework. Initially, we went to Marina Hotel in Dodowa. And at that point, I was opposed to a national youth policy, even as a young man. When they asked me, I said, look, why are you talking about youth? When you go to the sporting arena, it is the youth. When you go to the security services, it is the youth. When you go to every sector, it is the youth. So what is it about the youth that we continue to talk about as if they are not catered for? What I was proposing at the time was a national development plan that will capture the interests of our young people. And even the young people, we needed to segregate them between young men and young women. We needed to cater for the aged, and we needed to cater for persons with disability. I'm sure Nana Akomia, if he's listening, will know my stance. In the end, I advocated strongly that, look, doing this, we are all going to transit to become old and eventually the aged. So if we did not at that time as young people prepare our minds towards it, it will give us a challenge. Those of my colleagues, including Kofi Adams, John Boydu, Oteng Anane, I'm sure will begin to admit that probably what I was saying, if we had taken a critical look at it, would have been thinking about a framework that will cater for all citizens. Today we are all aging. We are all aging, either in our late 40s or in our early 50s. We are aging, so gradually we are getting to the pension. So, but we as young people failed to think that we will grow old. And our interest was to do a framework for young people in this country. Where are we today? Now,
and even the young people, where are they?
This is what we're thinking about. And so anytime I meet any one of them, I remind them that you people said you would not listen to me. So you see today where we are. We are also getting to where we are. Are we going to now start to think about the aged policy? Clearly, this nation has structured itself for the kind of mess that we live in. You see, you work within the public service. Government is able to provide you accommodation. Government is able to offer you a vehicle. But your income is not sufficient for you to own accommodation after you have exited job on retirement. What will you do? You have to find alternative ways to source money so that you can have your own accommodation because you are living in a government bungalow.
Yeah.
So how will you survive when you are no more? And normally 3 months after, you are asked to pack out. Pack out to where? Most of the people, actually because of jobs, they have migrated and disconnected from their own families and communities. So I leave Sankana and I come to Accra because of job, and I've been working here all my life. I've not made sufficient money from the work I'm doing to be able to put up a house anywhere. And I'm going on retirement and I'm asked to pack out of the bungalow because the next person has to come, and rightly so.
And that is a very, perfect picture you're painting, because a lot of our pensioners, a lot of them, respectfully, have to literally beg to survive, to live, because they can't get their medication.
Nothing.
Some can't pay rent. They are being thrown out. they can't pay for utilities. They have to live on the benevolence of others. And we've seen it even in the creative arts. Because those people are popular, from time to time we see it. Oh, this actor, that actress, this former footballer, and all of that. It's the same problem that is leading them.
So this is how we have crafted our system. Said that it appears that you come to serve your nation and your nation leaves you to die anyhow. So when you are old, there is no accommodation. There's no aged home anywhere that will cater for persons of a certain age bracket. Some of them, they have disconnected with their communities and what have you. They cannot go back and integrate. And so you can see that it is a very sad picture. It is not just about the little incomes that they are receiving. And of course, if you are not earning much, and it is about 17-point-something% accumulative of your this thing that goes into social security contribution, how much will that be paid to you each month for you to survive? And so I am not surprised that if you check the mortality rate, it will tell you that many people die soon upon going on retirement.
True.
Many people. As soon as they go on retirement, then they say that, no, there's no driver to pick me to the office. I have to move out of my bungalow. So the stress and unimaginable thoughts simply lead them to their grave, when it is actually at that time that we need to have them to draw their wealth of experience to be able to guide our path into the future.
And Afil Money, another thing you would take stock of, as for taxation, will be taxed into the ground. Your taxes will be taken.
Yeah, sure.
But what must be done for you to also allow you to live in dignity at the end of your service to your nation? That one will not be taken care of. Some of the matters, we had a communique, we've not put it out here, but some of the findings and some of the comments, limiting government's interference in SNIT itself, in the MPRA. I mean, what happened recently with SNIT and Rock City? I've always said, I have nothing against Dr. Brian Echampo. We meet, we chat, we have a good I've met him about 4 times within the last how many months, and we laugh over some of these things. But how things went, should they have gone that way? Worker representation on the SNIT board, there's another major problem. Many companies paying you, maybe yes, because Mr. Joe Poku, who spoke for SNIT, the chief actuary, if you're earning 10,000, and you know they will pick your 3 best years salary and then strike the average and give that to you. So if it is 10,000 that it came to, now let's assume you earn 10,000 throughout. It means that you're getting about 60% of that, so that's 6,000 cedis, right? Yeah. Which means then if you're earning 1,000, you're getting 600 cedis. What can you do with 600 cedis? And how many people are earning 10,000 cedis? Do you see the bit? Yeah. So it's a major problem because in many companies too, you have them paying you, let's say they are giving you 10,000, but the 10,000 doesn't come as 10,000.
Yeah.
Let's say half of that, 5,000, comes as the perks of the job. Yeah. So your salary in reality is 5,000.
5,000.
Yeah.
So your SNIT is based on 5,000.
5,000, not on the allowance.
Not on the 10,000. And these are some other aspects that people say need to be regulated. Your take?
I think we should tackle this issue with urgent promptitude because day in, day out, so many people are being sentenced to premature death because of the circumstances, hellish circumstances in which they find themselves. But my joy is that it's not a basket case. The antecedents have all underlined the need for us as a nation to take a hard look at SNIT, take a hard look at the investment made from workers' salaries, take a hard look at management of SNIT, and help fix the chronically difficult problem at SNIT. You don't need the superfluity of social justice to see this palpable wrong against workers. So this is the time for all of us, especially the stakeholders, to sharpen their eyes, to ensure that governance issues, the interference, that animal called political interference, is shackled, so that SNITs, management of SNITs will have the latitude to invest wisely so that workers will also enjoy the fruits of their labor.
And let's get into the papers now. My final words, though, of course, some of those who walk the corridors of power, they stash away so much for future generations that they don't bother about pensions, because in the end, what they have is
Bernard,
enough of a pension for 1,000 years. Anyway, let's get into the papers now.
I aim to lead the country. I don't aim to join those who are thieves.
Points well articulated and well noted.
Let's get into the papers, Bernard. I'll start with you. Which one are you doing first?
These ones. Well, the headlines of the Daily Guide newspaper, and I don't know why you gave me Daily Guide. You are always mischievous, though.
The paper will guide us.
I'm up to do mischief.
It will guide us.
If you want to switch, I can switch with you.
Oh, no. I am a Democrat, so I accept what comes my way by sharing. Krapa commissions largest rooftop solar project. Speaker hosts Ivorian counterpart. Nana fulfills UHA's promise. Reform SHS policies to enhance students' well-being. That's Child Rights Institute International. 5,000 KAE to be trained. NEIP boss. Now, I am keen about the solar rooftop project. And this is said to be about 16.8 megawatts of solar that is installed at the Free Zones Board by a private sector. The excitement, if I can glean from the newspaper, from the minister, is that the construction and the connection was completely done by Ghanaian engineers and Ghanaian workers. What it means is that we have the know-how to be able to fix or to assemble solar panels in this country and to make them work. What I am not sure of is whether we have the capacity to construct the solar panels. And whether
the capacity.
Yeah, to construct.
Well, I believe I interacted with, I don't know whether it was Professor Awandari or someone else recently, but we have made some little advancements. Yeah. I wouldn't say state-of-the-art solar, but I know there are entities here. You know, solar technology has become cheaper over time. Yeah. It's much cheaper compared to 10 years ago, 5 years ago. The capacity is not incredibly bad, but it's not world-class, I wouldn't say.
Because what we should be looking at is not to become consumers of people's products, but we should also begin to be producers of some of these things. All the time we import, and when we assemble, we praise ourselves. Every time, as we will call it, you become a fitter. You cannot do motorbikes, but you fit motorbikes. You cannot do radio, but you can fit the radio when it's spoiled. In fact, mobile phones that when they get spoiled, probably the companies themselves will not be able to repair them. In Ghana, they will repair it for you.
Yeah, you can
understand. Yeah, because, and sometimes you are like, oh, let them take it back to the country, and they tell you, no, when it's spoiled, you go for a new one. So we don't have the capacity. But here, they can repair. I am thinking that we should have the capacity to do solar panels. It should not be any complex technology for our students at Tech, our students at the various technical universities.
You're going even too far when you say Tech. Yeah. At the secondary level.
At the secondary level, we should be able to do solar panels so that we can use them. I used to have a small boy from a community called Pagdingen. He goes around taking scraps and he will generate electricity from it. He without education. So I picked him to Sankana and said, hey, come and start schooling so that you can benefit from this knowledge. It's super. I got to his community, and he had actually done a solar panel, and he connected his own things to a car battery, and every time in the community there is light. And when I was trying to praise government for bringing the solar, they said, no, don't praise any government. This is our small boy. And they brought the small boy to me. So somehow, if we are able to mobilize such talents, give them certain training, not English, Because I think that our understanding of English is assumed to be education. And so when somebody cannot speak English, it means that the person should be emasculated from the system of contributing to the national growth. Look, English cannot be the panacea to our underdevelopment. I think that somebody that can speak Twi, somebody that can speak Dagari, and they do fantastically well. You take your vehicle and you say, come and sit in the vehicle. They sit in the vehicle and they are able to tell you where exactly the problem is. Not English. You understand? So yes, it's good that we have commissioned this at the Free Zones Board. Obviously, 16.8 megawatts will reduce the burden on the national grid so that we can offload that to other sectors of the economy. But hey, this is a private sector that has decided to do it. This is not a government initiative. How come that the renewable sector, energy sector, government is playing lip service? They don't want to invest much. And you are allowing private sector to be the major investor into the renewable energy sector. When you know that we have avalanche surplus of sun in our country, wind we have. I schooled a little bit in Germany, as you are aware. And in Germany, where they don't have so much wind, they have developed the wind mill.
If you go the other way towards the Netherlands,
yeah,
all of
you
that,
see that they have
a lot of wind
the windmill that is generating electricity for them. Today, the energy mix component of Germany, the solar and renewable sector is about 40%. And so you see that even in those countries where you expect that they will produce or they will suffer high cost of energy, their energy is coming down because they are using other integrated systems to ensure that they reduce the initial cost of probably investing. And today it's gone down. I have a solar pump on my farm. And I can tell you that for the past 4 years, we have not bought fuel.
Oh, that's great.
You understand? We are able to pump water to be able to cater for about 300 to 400 acres of land.
Wow.
People get there. I mean, that is what we use to do our insecticides, our weedicides. That is what we drink. That is what our animals drink. And that is what we use for every other thing. And so, if you are able to do this, I can tell you that we'll go far. But government is like withdrawing and then allowing the private
enterprise. Private enterprise is supposed to boost this, but I keep forgetting whether it's Algeria or Morocco and what they have done there. Probably the biggest in the world. It is government sponsored.
Yes, totally.
And I think with the problems we've had with ECG, NETCO, and our power
should sponsor.
Crisis, we are blessed with sunshine all year round. No. Especially even if we wanted to do even the northern belt of the country and let NETCO pipe from there so that Akosombo and the others, the IPP arrangements we have will cater for the south. We wouldn't be in some of the debt situations.
If you go to just near Togo and you see institutions, the ministries, all of them are powered by solar. So what prevents us from, for instance, from our major hospitals that we generate solar from there?
Indeed.
Our universities,
schools,
that we generate solar so that we can take them off from the national grid and allow where we can get commercial value that we send the grid to them. What is
MMDAs, all MMDAs, put them on solar. Anyway, I don't know whether you have any quick reflections before we get into it.
Inability to achieve energy peace of mind is a serious indictment on our sense of innovation and seriousness as a nation. And as you pointed out, by divine providence, we have sunshine and wind in overabundance. So what stops us, what shackles us as a nation from fixing our energy needs? So we thank the company for taking the right step, and I believe the authorities will double up to ensure that our institutions, our education institutions in particular, our hospitals, as we said, will not suffer light of as a result of cash problems.
I don't know why Robert Nesta Marley's words come to mind this morning. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. You're asking what the problem is. It's the mindset.
Yeah, mindset. Yeah.
It's the mindset. Any other?
Well, the next newspaper is The Citizen, and it says that Chief curses Deputy Speaker of Parliament. Achimota Forest being carved out. Then election 2024, Baumia Napope impeccable. Then Apostle asks pastors to avoid partisan politics.
This Achimota bit, but I'll have something to. I'm doing certain things. I'll have something to say on that in the coming days or week. It is.
Promises to be
but I will leave it.
Are you surprised that any time the New Patriotic Party is in power, there is an attempt to muscle Achimota Forest for themselves? Under President Kufuor, when Osafo Mafu was in place, he told us that why are we concentrating on having a forest of trees when we can actually get economic value from the forest? Osafo Mafu said those things, and they were actually determined to sell the forest. It took a lot of resistance, particularly from the Committee for Joint Action then.
I guess some people don't realize that when the trees are gone,
oh, well, we are told that the last one...
And that the buffers, and especially with our flooding situation in Accra, once the trees go, we're a mess.
Why are you saying this? Are you not the same person that said that some people have touched money so much that they don't care about pensions? Such are the characters who want to destroy. So as soon as they destroy our land, they can migrate to other places. How many of such people have you seen that their children even have schooled in Ghana? The kind of education policies that they are propounding and putting for Ghanaians to attend, are their children here? It will turn out that it is their children that tomorrow will come and say they are Ghanaians because they have paper qualifications and to lead us. And I was at the University of Cape Coast with Professor Titus Bayu, where he said that he decided to enroll into an MBA program. And in the MBA program, he wanted to have knowledge, requisite knowledge, to be able to have some administrative capacity. Then when it was time for them to write the exam, the course rep or so, as they call it, came onto their group platform and said that, look, this lecturer, they should contribute some money and give to the lecturer so that the lecturer will make the examination easy for them. According to Professor Bayu, people that didn't get time to attend classes were the ones to contribute highest. Wow. So they were willing to get the paper certificate, but they were not willing to get the knowledge. And is it not clear that in our Ghanaian public life, many people have certificates that they are not able to defend or to even merit? And so many people just go, and then they are given certificates, they come. So you are in an institution and somebody come and say, now I hold a master's in this. Now I hold a PhD in this. Then the person is promoted to go and do the work that a PhD or a master's students will do. Then it's subordinates that will have to come and do the job for them. This is the lowest level that we have come across. And such characters are leading the Forestry Commission. Such characters are leading the ministries. How do you expect that we'll be able to think possibly about the consequences of
Yeah. For the sake of time, let's make tracks. Let's get into your
election 2024.
Which paper is that? The Daily Searchlight?
Daily Searchlight.
Right.
Election 2024 debate. Election 2024 debate. MPP MPs chase Mahama. And Mahama, the past, I am the future, according to Baumia.
In fact, the two of them are consigned to the past. I am the future.
No comment on that. And this, I think the call for debate should not be packaged to appear as if it's a lifeline, electoral lifeline for Baumia. I'm inclined to believe that he can win the election without debate.
No, he actually can lose.
Pardon? He can win or he can lose. Mahama can also win or can lose without a debate.
I can win.
And you can say that this is it's not anything to happen. More so, IA is not even ready. And we were told that they had not even contacted the contestants. But yet, they came out with a release announcing the debate. That was a non-starter. So, and this country lacks an institution with the credibility to organize such a debate. Going forward, we need to make it part and parcel of our presidential system so that before you fire, you know that you be engaged in debate without waiting for calls from somewhere which are laced with all kinds of motives. This is my take.
Well, I wouldn't get into the
I need to talk about
whatever, but all I will say is this. You know, a debate in a way is like some sort of a lower form of argument. You are not arguing. You are just trying to make your point. I feel if our leaders did the right thing, there would be no need for debates. You know why? Because people can see. People are not blind. People can feel when we go to hospital. If you do the right thing, there will be no need for debate in the sense that, and I'm sure people will say, oh, even in the US, there is debate. If you've done enough, right, the people will debate for you. And they will debate for you in the elections. You would probably not need to say too much. It happened to us with teachers in school who were the best and those who were the worst. If they asked you today, oh, that immediately comes to mind, you remember, because they went over and beyond their capacity to make you get to where you've got to. I feel these talks about, I'm not saying it is irrelevant, I'm not saying it is unnecessary. I just feel politicians fail and then sometimes they think, oh, we can find ways of coming to ad-lib, say things, some of those that don't exist, and paint a certain picture, and we'll get away with it, past and present. I don't know, but again, I keep saying, we are very tolerant people. I'm not that tolerant.
Very.
I am not, unfortunately.
Well, just a little bite. I recall in the year 2000 when there was a debate, and President Alpha Moni would recall, Dr. Mahama came up as the finest debater with sharp ideas.
Edward Mahama.
Edward Mahama, yeah. And that it was everywhere that Edward Mahama is the president that never will be because of the policy and the sharpness with which he responded to the questions. That debate did not yield the required results. And I'm just, so Afenyo Markins, for instance, who's pushing for the debate, should Mahama win that debate, will that convince him to go and vote for the NDC?
That's the point. And when Bawumia, in the last two elections, 2016, 2020, when they at the time, you see, that's why I say we have to be careful. When they were telling
people are rigid,
the person who was then president, in 2016, go and debate the KIA, go and debate the nurses and all.
And then John Mahama
does he want to go and debate the people on the economy?
To debate. Akufo-Addo refused to debate when the sitting president was willing to debate.
So like you're saying, if we're going to institutionalize it, it's part of the process. Yeah. If you get to this point, you must espouse your ideas. Well, it's one thing, but this whole...
But my view is that it is not the IEA, and I'm sure that everyone knows my position on the IEA when I was General Secretary. And I said that we cannot allow national issues to be determined by an institution owned by a husband and a wife. And I meant it when I said so, because they will determine what to do and what not to do and what will be the ground rules and what we should accept. And I advocated that the National Commission for Civic Education should be responsible for such a thing. The Ghana Broadcasting Corporation should have the capacity to organize these things. And I think that every media house will respect that if Ghana Broadcasting Corporation takes it up. After all, that is the mother.
I mean, they do things and we all...
everybody...
So it's not a problem.
And so NCC, if they take it up...
If we had the right system, NCC could be able to...
So I think that this is where, if there is going to be a debate, that must be institutionalized. Either it is NCC or the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, and then we take it from there.
It could even be both of them working together with the rest of us. We have about 2 minutes. What quick story would you like to reflect on?
Finder, Guta Hill's media budget calls for...
Which Guta?
Guta.
It's not true. Is it not the same Guta that came and saying that the media budget did not help?
You need to look at which newspaper and how they... I mean, they will take an angle that they feel. You have to
listen to the Guta people when they responded instantaneously to the budget.
Bernard Mona, let's respect what they have put there.
Why are they lying?
We know.
They have the freedom to
lie.
To spin.
This one.
After money, we have to go. So let's quickly look at.
Creditors cash add 134 billion Ghana cedis to public debt in 6 months, and no decision yet to spray water from Akosombo Dam VRA.
Okay.
Yeah, and tourism hospitality should be seen as serious business, Professor Ishan. And
today, when we put up our currency exchange, the pound was exchanging, if you were buying it, or 20 cedis, 40 per Swiss. Wow. The dollar is also, I think, still 15 and something. How do you do business in that environment? But right before we go, gentlemen, I saw is it Bright Simmons post on, this thing that has come up, the vice president suggesting that, if he becomes president, people would get phones and pay 1 CD and 2 CDs. I'm giving you 20 seconds each. Just tell me, what do you think? Viable? After all, in other jurisdictions, they have these setups where you get a phone, you pay $9.99 and all of that a month till you are done paying. What's your take?
John Maxwell,
20 seconds maximum. I need you to be very brief on this.
The law of timing by John Maxwell states that if you do the right thing at the right time, it will bring success. If you do the wrong thing at the wrong time, bring disaster. If you do the right thing at the wrong time, it will bring resistance. If you do the wrong thing at the right time, it's a mistake. So that's my...
I like the way you put it. But I'm on 20 seconds. Just go for it. Go for it.
I'm wondering, will the people of Ghana be looking for sustainable sources of income, or they'll be looking for a way to communicate that will increase their hunger? And young people will be seeking jobs and income levels.
Okay.
And they will not be seeking mobile phones.
All right. Thank you very much. Bernard Mona is with Arise Ghana. Afil Money is former president. Roland Afil Money.
Roland is my colonial name.
Colonial name.
Colonialism.
Okay. Afil Money is former president of the Ghana Journalists Association. We'll be getting into Prime Take with Muftau Nabila Abdullahi shortly, but Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic helps us bring you this segment every weekday morning, and they're offering you prostate screening for free if you're a man, fertility screening for free if you're a woman. Reach out to them at any of their branches, starting with Accra Spintex opposite the Shell signboard, Kumasi, Kronoma Abuehia behind the Angel Educational Complex, Takrady Anaji State, Tema Community 22, Techiman Hanswa, and Esiama Nzima. If you'd like to call them, the numbers are 0244 867 068 or 0274 234-321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. Up next, we serve you Prime Take with Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. Do stay.
Hey, Baomia. The promises will not end there. Chai.